Hey everybody, this is Sam Ballard from the RPM Podcast. Planning an event and looking for a great time? Go no further than RC2U Racing for all your portable family entertainment. RC2U turns any occasion into a competition. Check them out online at rc2uracing.com.
Welcome everybody to the RPM Podcast, episode 151. As you can see, Scott Riggleman is not here tonight. He's out towing cars.
And welding pumpkins.
Welding pumpkins. I do have my conspiracy theory partner in the studio, Josh Matthews. Josh, how you doing?
I have an ear infection and possibly strep throat, but I'm on antibiotics, so I'm not doing great, but I should be getting better soon.
And then on the phone tonight, we have sportsman driver, Rutt III. Rutt, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again. I'm glad to be back on the show after a long time away.
Tim, why did you insult him like that?
Why?
You called him a sportsman driver. That's just horrible.
What should I say? A former full-time member of the RPM podcast?
A former factory stock driver, four-cylinder driver. Neil, are you still leading the points in the four cylinders, Neil?
Yeah, we're ahead by, I believe, 34 points going into 2 more races.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you know, any of those would be better than sportsman. I mean,
all-around driver is like what I like to say. I'll drive anything we got.
Yes, I like that. All right, so what's on tap, Tim?
I guess we'll start out with, since we got Neil on, we'll start out with the local Wall Stadium. It was packed the track night again.
Yep.
And I wasn't there, so I really don't know what happened, but
You missed out, man. They had a lot of good food this weekend too.
I did read on Facebook that my driver was looking for a spotter, so I didn't go to that race. I went to Loudon instead.
Yeah, I missed you. Shedded a tear a little bit when I found out you weren't going.
So, how was your night?
It was pretty good. You know, practice was a little rough to begin with. You know, we fixed everything from the wreck last week, so we kind of feeling things out. Decided to, you know, put on 3 tires for the race. You know, you don't really need 4 with the Sportsman because you don't use the left front as much. You know, so we're feeling things out. We only had 10 cars, so they didn't give us heat races, which was, you know, an issue for us because we, like I said, wanted to feel the car out. So we had a couple warm-ups that they gave us. Car felt all right. Definitely didn't feel like we had potential to win, if I would say. You know, obviously we always want to win, but I don't think we had it for like the faster guys. So we decided to really just ride around. And then they did the results for the feature, and we were starting second. So kind of decided, all right, let's put 3 tires on and let's go try to win this thing.
That's all right. So, I mean, well, you said you're going to try to win it. I mean, what was your honest expectation going in?
Try to make sure we don't wreck again. You know, starting on the outside, definitely is a hard thing to do with the Sportsmans. You know, you get a lot of momentum with the Sportsmans on the outside, but you know, the drivers tend to, you know, bang doors going down Nerf bars down the straightaway. Sorry, Josh, for insulting the full fender cars that you love. You know, so we tried just, you know, keeping everything clean. You know, we have Michael Rising on the inside of us. Me and him been running pretty good side by side every single week with each other, so well respected between both of us. Took off for the get-go about lap 2, had the lead. Took off all the way from there until about 5 to go, and then it became, as everyone is saying, this race of the year aspect. You know, I was driving, so I wasn't really getting to watch, which was an insult, I guess, because I would love to see an amazing race. You know, so it was fun. Definitely a good challenge between me and Eric. You know, we bought Eric's car at the beginning of the year, so it was kind of cool, a new versus old challenge out there. It was fun. Ran bumper to bumper for a while, a couple push and shoving, typical sportsman stuff. Eric got back around me, but, you know, gave it right back to him. Did a nice dive bomb on him going into turn 3. We took the lead, 2 to go. Kind of knew it was going to come again. You know, Eric gave us a nice, pretty shot going into 1 and 2. tried getting back to him. Caused a little contact between us and the 12. Sorry about him. He's running for the championship and all. But we're out there to try to win races. That's all. That's what us racers do. We want to win. We want to prove to them that we're not just riding around. We're going to come out there and win next year. And obviously about half the field wrecked, which I'm sorry for everyone for that. But it was a good night. Congratulations to Eric on the win. Hard fought with them, struggling with that new car. It was good to see them back in victory lane again, as always. But obviously, wish we were that one more spot. But we still got 2 more races, so we're gonna try to get another one.
So you ended up second for the night there. Now your plan for next year. I mean, are you looking to run full-time sportsman, or is it going to be, well, let's see how the first couple races go and we'll decide from there, or what are you looking to do?
Yeah, we're definitely thinking about running full-time. Obviously, money is an issue with the sportsmen. It's a very expensive. It's an expensive sport. Tires play a factor. Motors at the beginning of the year. So we definitely do want to, go full time. Chris Kilbride, my car owner, awesome guy. He's done a lot for us over these past 8 or 9 weeks that we've run. He's positive with picking me, and we've had a lot of good results. A win so far as well, numerous top 3s. So that's definitely going to be the goal. We're going to push for a championship, obviously. He believes that I'm that caliber of a driver to go out there and win championships. So hopefully we can go out there, run smooth, keep the nose clean for the whole season, and go win another championship, hopefully.
All right, and what are you looking to do for the 4-cylinder for next year? Are you going to try to keep that going, or is that going to be, the backup plan, or just something fun to do, or?
We put a few thoughts in it, my father and I. I'd love to see, all the hard work that he does on that thing, and the sportsman. I'd love to see possibly him getting back out there, run a couple races, just to get that excitement back, because obviously he loves watching me race and all this, and our whole, back row team, he loves being a part of it. But I'd like to give it back to him and let him go run a couple races, hopefully get out there and win a couple races, which would be pretty cool. We're probably going to run a couple of the bigger races, the 50 lappers, the Turkey Derby, Spooky, Cliff Cross race. Just a couple of them, try to get some wins, more wins to our record so far that we've been going in the past 20-something races I've had the car.
All right. Any plans to hop into factory stock at any point?
Yeah. I love that division. I love the aspect of just beating off of each other, but having fun with it. They've definitely have progressed over the past few years since I've been out, and you as well. With the tires, the motors are different now. Obviously it's still same motors, but a lot more people are getting them properly built. Not just picking up a junkyard motor like us, like we had.
Right.
So that would be another factor I would love to. I took actually Billy Bo's car out, both, by the way. I took his car out a couple weeks ago, and the car felt good. It felt good being back behind. And within 2 or 3 laps, we went 16-0 with it. Wow. So it was pretty fun to actually experience being able that I can jump probably back in it and, possibly win a race or something like that. Sorry, the woman's distracting me right now.
Tell her you got to smack her around.
So I would love to get back into one. But other than that, I love helping Billy out, helping Brian O'Shea out. Everyone in that division, Tom Wiskowski, all of them. I'm always there to help around. So if maybe that time will come, maybe for Turkey Derby or something like that, we'll jump back behind of a factory stock and we'll see.
I will say personally, I've always admired, your energy and ability to just keep going. Paul Hartwig Jr., similar. Do you guys ever sleep? You're always fixing a car, getting something done, and you make it to the track. And I've had some late nights, sure, but am I just old, or Like, what's the deal? How do you keep going?
I mean, obviously, me being young, only 21 years old, but I've been doing this for a long time, 12 going on 13 years. So almost my whole half of my life I've been racing or been around cars.
Right.
So, we put countless hours when we work on the Sportsman midweek. We're there late at night hanging out with Chris, helping him out. Sometimes we're over at Bruce's garage helping the girls' cars, Billy's car as well. It sucks. Sometimes I don't really get to work on my Prelude due to the fact that my father lives so far away. So, he mainly does that stuff, which keeps him and Paul, thank you to both of them, especially Paul. He does a lot for us behind the scenes that a lot of people obviously can't see.
Right.
He's a big part of my racing career and getting my racing career started with this open wheel stuff, indoor stuff, everything he's done for me, giving me the opportunity to drive his cars whenever I want,
Right.
So I have to thank him a lot. He does put a lot of hours. It's like every night when we're building cars, like I said, we don't sleep. We'll stay out there at 4 a.m, get up, go to work, come home and go do it again. And that's just what we do. This is our so-called, I guess you would say, drug.
Right.
So that's what we do. And I love doing it. I love being a part of the sport. And I'm going to keep doing it till I guess I can't walk. And I'll try to do it even when I can't walk, I guess.
Oh, they have those special needs cars that we do everything by hand. So I'm sure you'll find a way.
We'll rig something up to get me in something when I get old. But before that time comes, I'm going to keep fighting and keep going.
We'll get some pull strings or whatever that you can pull the gas pedal with a rope on your right-hand side or something for you.
Josh, what was the RPM podcast top 10 for that race?
Which one?
Sportsman race.
I have to pull that up yet, but I was going to ask Neil because I'm very poorly prepared here.
I know the top 3. That's all.
Neil's like, I don't look behind me.
I don't look behind.
How was the crowd? The stands packed or?
For obviously not having the modifieds, which is the premier division that everyone loves to go see. Obviously it was amazing to have the $10 night as always. The place was packed. It wasn't all the way down to the last row. A couple rows up, but still amazing crowd. Place was packed. They got to see a demolition derby. The only thing that sucks is when the demolition derby's on, the fans can't go in the pits afterwards.
Yes.
Obviously because all the moving. So that's the only thing that I take back from those nights because we love interacting with the fans. Every driver, I know Scott does. All the drivers like to interact with the fans and see the smiles on their faces. So that was the only turn back from that night. But the crowd was awesome. The food stand was packed the whole entire night. No matter there was races going on, people were still in line. The food's good. It was a good night overall with the turnout.
Good.
Neil, I wanted to ask you real quick before we get into our top tens here. Now, a lot of people have said that the 4-cylinders are kind of becoming like the factory stocks, where they're just getting more and more expensive to be competitive, and I think that's going to prove true in every division to some extent. But I mean, have you found it to be prohibitive for you? Because you've been running, right up front all season, it seems, with the 4-cylinders. And I know you guys have, don't have the greatest financial backing for racing. I mean, it's mostly blood, sweat, and tears for you guys. So, I mean, do you have other people helping you out, or did you just find a way to make it work?
Obviously, sponsors is a big part of racing. Mac Tools came on board this year. They've been a big help, helping my father and I get to the racetrack. A lot of sponsorship is a big thing with, like I said, with the sport, because tires are expensive, fuel gets expensive, buying your way in with the crew, it could be over hundreds of dollars just, getting everyone there. So I would say the 4-cylinders, it's like, I don't think it's going into the factory stocks really. Because you could buy a reasonable price car and compete. You really could. You pay what's the right word for this? You pay on the way you want to compete. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you want to run up front, you're going to do whatever you can, no matter how much money to run up front, regardless. And that's every division, late models, sportsmen, modifieds, you're going to pay that pretty penny to run up front. So I think, it's still an experience, a learning division. Obviously there's a lot of fast guys out there, myself included, Jeff, Alonzo, Brian, when he comes out, Ryan Marr's getting faster. Darian's
How's
been
Brian
there.
camp going?
So, everyone's fast in the division, but it's good to see those rookies out there and, having them learn off of us, which is a good thing. So I would say, the 4 cylinders is still the way to go, obviously, with the money. That would be the only thing. Factories is hard to get into now. It's not really a learning division like it used to be when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the wrong way to go on my behalf. So I think the 4 cylinders is always a good, anyone out there listening that wants to put their kid or just start racing, look into the 4 cylinders. There's plenty of them out there for sale, plenty of them out there to build, bring the cars and, fill the division.
Okay, good. All right, so real quick, we're going to go through, if I can pull it back up here, the sportsman division, the top 10. We had Eric Lane, Neil Rutt III, Tommy Martino, Jonathan Loray, Shannon Monjo, Tom Stanionis, Kyle Sisko, Roland DiMartino, Kevin Davison, and Tim Steffen. And now going to the factory stocks, they had 2 25-lap features. In the first feature, Shannon Monjo gets the win, followed by Tom Richkowski, Scott Riggleman, Elliott Wall, Mike Montano, Tim Majek, Joe Monjo, Brian O'Shea, Joey Helberg, and Jerry Koenig. And a turnaround from that was the second feature where Jerry Koenig gets the win, followed by Shannon Monjo, Joey Helberg, Scott Riggleman, Elliott Wall, Joe Monjo, Tim Majek, Mike Montano, Tom Richkowski, and Brian O'Shea rounding out the top 10. The limited late model feature, they only had a 20-lap feature. I'll just give you the top 5 because that's all they had. Shannon Monjo, Chris Silvestri, Jim Mormon, Greg Gastelou, Ronnie Mullen, and Mike Tillett. I saw a photo. It looked like Tillett got
they had
banged up.
Crazy wreck in warm-ups. Ronnie was coming around in the middle of turn 1 and 2. I don't know if it was a tire came down or something, but that car just spun out like a top, and he was in the process of sliding up to the fence. And Mike Tillett came around the corner. I guess didn't have time to really, slow the car down. It wasn't really like a full speed impact, so obviously he noticed it.
Right.
But just didn't have time to really slow the car down and just, hit Ronnie pretty much almost head on. Luckily they were both okay. I knew they talked after the race. It just sucked, because they're struggling on cars. And, that was 2 good cars right there that, could have been in potential for the win. So, it sucks for them. Glad they're okay.
I also want to mention the TQ Midgets ran 25-lap feature. Jeff Gravatt left me high and dry here. He only listed Joey Bailey for the winner, and the rest of the positions are not there at all.
Buddy Slode was second. That's all I know.
Hey, it's more than I got on the wallboard.
That's all I got for you.
And the Demo Derby, Chris Klotz. That sounds like a bad guy name, Chris Klotz. He won the Demo Derby, which a lot of fans. I mean, looking at the pictures, it looked like there was a great crowd there, like you said before, Neil. And then I think this coming weekend we have Fan Fest with the On Track Party. Were you going to be there for that, Neil?
Yes, I will be there with both cars. We actually just got T-shirts made, quick and easy T-shirts. We handed them out at Fan Fest for like a, not a fee, but like a donation,
right?
For our support of, the track and all the fans that come out there to see and cheer us on. So we'll be out there. Darian and Deanna will be out there as well as Billy. So it'll be a good night. Hopefully hand some stuff out, sign some autographs, make some kids smile in a non-creepy way.
I don't think anything's going to beat that for the rest of the night.
And we'll have a good night. Like I said, it says right on the wallboard. It says "Let's party." So let's party.
Yeah, 100%. So that's going to be this Saturday, September 28th. Party on the Track Fan Fest, sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. I'm going to be there this weekend. We're going to have a modified, sportsman, limited late models, factory stocks, 4-cylinders, and legends. So you got a full schedule, lots of racing to watch. It's going to be a good show. Adults $18. Seniors and active military are 15. Students 7 to 17 years old are $8, and as always, 6 and under are free. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a lot of people. I hope that the crowd is similar to this past weekend. And you, like you says, get your picture with the drivers and all that. You don't have to wait till the pits open at the end of the night. You can get down on the track. You can see how steep that banking is for yourself. It's absolutely worth it. It's one of the best things they do. And I will say, Diane, she really knows what she's doing with this. And I know for especially these big events, and she always has the factory stocks on for that, and she knows that they're a great show. So I think it's going to work out well. And what we got? We got like 2 weeks left.
Yeah. So regardless, if you can't make it out for FanFest, you need to get your butt to the track because the points are narrowing down. There's going to be a lot of good challenges on the track for any division out there. Points are tight almost across every division. Get on out, support your local short track, and have some fun at the racetrack.
Neil, are you nervous about that season finale race? With the double points.
I wouldn't say nervous. Kind of excited.
Okay.
Because that's where all the marbles get put out. Me and Alonso have put close finishes every single week, either 1-2, second or thirds together. An incident happened at the beginning of the year, but luckily we were both able to move on after the second race and put in a good fight. We had a photo finish a couple weeks ago. We're putting it out there for the fans, So not like I said, not nervous. I wanted to, I want the championship, obviously. Hello.
Hey,
there we go.
are.
Hey.
Sorry,
my headphones died.
Oh, that might explain it. Yeah, it got really garbled there for a second, and then we lost you for a minute. So you want to repeat that last bit there?
What part did we forget here?
Not so much forgot. I think we lost you right around. I have to go back and listen exactly where it was, but
you and that guy had a
start after you and Alonso.
I got it now. So we had an incident on the second night of racing that we were both able to move on from, which was good. Like I said, it's been hard battles all the way till now. We had a photo finish a couple weeks ago. We're putting it out there for the fans. So that's all it's about, hard racing for everything. It comes down to this championship. Like I said, 34 points away. That's anything could happen.
Well, it's certainly going to be exciting. We're going to have to wait and see how it turns out. But like I said, I'll be there Saturday. I'll be cheering for you. It's going to be a good race. It's going to be a good night. Go ahead.
A lot of people think that, and me included, I think that you're very talented, and that you're going to be the next up and coming star. Do you want to race? Wall mods. What do you want to do after that? Where do you think you'll end up being top of your career? Where would you feel?
I've already competed at Wall with the modifieds, did a couple races. We ran around the back. I definitely would love to be up front. I feel as I got older, from when I was a kid at 16 years old driving a modified, definitely I feel like my skills have progressed over the years. I feel like I would put a good fight out there. I'm no superstar. I'm just a regular guy that's been around for a while that, just loves the sport. I love to make it, to the NASCAR modifieds, with how, with Goodale and Fluid and Kobe and all of them. That's definitely a goal. You got to have good backing though. we got a good backing as where we're at right now, which is good. I'd love to make it there. You never know. There's still time to go in my racing career, so hopefully one day in a couple years we'll be on that grand stage of the NASCAR Tour Mods.
That would be interesting. Yes. It just takes money. It's all get a sponsor.
Yeah,
Keep
and
doing
then
what
I'm
you're
gonna have to somehow take you over.
doing. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm still alive by then.
We're taking you. Sorry, Eric, I'm taking him over.
You heard it here first, folks. So other than that, thank you, Neil, for joining us. You're welcome to hang around if you want. If you got other stuff to do, under no pressure to stay. So it's totally up to you.
I will get going because I did work all day, and personally, I need a shower. You're lucky you guys can't smell me. So I will be heading off. I will listen whenever you post because RPM Podcast is the best podcast around.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil, for coming on. It was good to talk to you again, bud. Hopefully I'll see you Saturday night, all right?
Thank you, guys.
All right, take
All
care.
right, thank you.
All right, Tim. I think that was pretty good. Neil's always a great person to talk to. Now I'm going to get back to reset here. So while we're doing the local stuff, I'm going to get into we got some emails here. First off, I'm going to go with the Garden State quarter midget results.
Okay. They
let's
had I was there Sunday. I made it back from New Hampshire, literally to pull in the driveway, change my T-shirt, and get back in the car and go over to Wall Stadium and made it for just for they were starting heat races. My point being is that the quarter midgets were also racing too, and they had a good crowd down there. A lot of stuff in the parking lot. So I guess it was a pretty big race for them. There was a lot of commotion going on over there. So
yeah, they get quite the field, that's for sure.
yeah.
So I'm going to start with basically this is from Chris Schwarz. He said, please find below 2 weekend results. Basically, they raced Friday Night Lights as well as a regular Sunday race. So we'll do the Friday Night Lights race first after I clear my throat a little bit. This infection's killing me. So the Rookie Blue A Main. This is going to be from 9/20/19. Bo Loesch and Casey Janey. The senior.
That's cool. That's a cool racing name, Bo Loesch.
Bo Loesch. Yes. Better than Klotz, I think. The senior animal A main, Thomas Schwarz, Brandon Sullivan, and Ryan Coulthau. The UNR animal A main, Zach Leonardo, Ted Olfsky. I'm screwing that up, and I know, and I apologize. Feel free to email us a correction on my pronunciation. Please send your complaints too. Let's see. The junior Honda A main, Chris Buffalino, Cole Farris, Anthony Kane, Mason White, and Jake Mullen. Senior Honda A main, Jackson White, Thomas Schwarz, Jojo Leonardo, Justin Farris, Brandon Sullivan, Gianni Monteleone, Danny Schenk, Shannon Schwarz, Braden Janey. Then we have the heavy Honda A main, Ryan McConnell, Ryan Boyd, Zach Leonardo, Justin Emmons, and Ted Olfsky. The light 160 A main, Jackson White, Ryan Coulthau, Brandon Sullivan, Thomas Schwarz, Chris Buffalino, and Jojo Leonardo. The heavy 160 A main, Ryan McConnell, Justin Emmons, Zach Leonardo, and Ted Olfsky. I'm trying, I swear. Then we're going to move on to 622, or I'm sorry, it should be 9/22/19. I think that's a typo there. The blue rookie A main, Casey Janey and Bo Loesch. Senior animal A main, Ryan Coulthau, Brandon Sullivan, Thomas Schwarz. The UNR animal A main, Zach Leonardo, Ted Olfsky. Junior Honda A main, Jackson White, Chris Buffalino, Cole Farris, Jake Mullen, Anthony Kane, Ryan Patterson. Senior Honda A main, Jackson White, Thomas Schwarz, Jojo Leonardo, Braden Janey, Justin Farris, Brandon Sullivan, Shannon Swartz, and Gianni Monteleone. Heavy Honda A main, Ryan McConnell, Ryan Boyd, Justin Emmons, Zach Leonardo, Ted Olfsky. Light 160 A main, Jackson White, Ryan Coulthau, Brandon Sullivan, Jojo Leonardo, Thomas Schwartz, Chris Buffalino. The heavy 160 A main, Ryan McConnell, Zach Leonardo, Ryan Boyd, Justin Emmons, and Ted Olfsky. All right, so that wraps up that. Now I have the Wall Stadium Sunday Series results from September 22nd, 2019. The World Formula Micro Stocks. We have Bob Wagner, Tyler Wagner, Ryan Baxter, Richie Tazinski, Josh Barry, Mike Fox Jr., Joey Gary, and Brian Russell. The Modified Micro Stocks. Mike Fox Jr., Tom Irvin, Josh Barry, Jim Van Dyne, Kylie Glotzby, Mike Brennan, Brian Russell, and Dave Stout. The Senior Champ Carts, Mike Brennan and Mike Berner, followed by Joe Parker. The Junior Champ Carts, Will Cloud, Steve Puglisi, Alex Greats, Mike Hall, Eric Zank. Sportsman Blue, we have Justin Teresa's, Chevy Romney, Alex Rogers, Aiden Spencer, and Aiden Gratz. Sportsman Red, Darren Krantz, Howie Conk Jr., Alexis Riggleman, Mike Sinagra, Bailey Riggleman. And then the Kid Carts, we have Kellen Okerson and JC. The 206 Series, Joe Mingaria, Mike Berner, Jim Hall, Kerry Irwin, Mike Brennan, and Leanne Cherry. Then we have there's a press release which I'm going to be putting up on our page either tonight or tomorrow, talking about the Irvin Racing number 99. So that's what we have for our local stuff there. Next, we're going to go to, if I can bring it up, the dirt stuff. Tim, do you know who was in action this weekend for the dirt?
I have no idea. I was in New Hampshire. I don't really know.
You're just like getting away.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the New Egypt Speedway Hammer Electric Championship night. We just have 3 features, again, unlabeled. I think this is actually how they upload them to MyLaps, because if you click on the one about Wall Stadium where they actually label which feature you're dealing with, when they upload to MyLaps, it actually says the title of the feature, whereas it looks like New Egypt just uploads feature and then feature, of course, followed by feature. So
yeah,
that's where we get into it, and I can't be in too many places at once, and yeah. So anyhow, the first of the 3 features, Brian Spencer, Heidi Hedden, Dwayne Nixon, Larry Drake, Brad Shaw, Ken Nealis, Eric Degler, Chase Leahy, and Gary Houston. The second feature, we have Art Lytle, Jim Hausworth, Steve Davis, Rob Lineman, Ryan Heim, Will Dupree, David Burns, Joe Nappy, JT Transky, and Matt Luzzi rounding out the top 10. And for the third feature, Eric Palmer, Nick Van Wickle, Ryan Simmons, Jeremy Martino, Joe Toth, Dan Fleming, Kevin Borden, Steve Hicks, Johnny Bangs, and Anthony Tramontana. That's your RPM Podcast Top 10 for New Egypt. And let's see, I see a little something about Big Diamond for next year. Perhaps I don't see anything about Bridgeport. So it looks like they may have been off after their big monster truck event. So I think I have to let the cat out of the porch. He's getting into stuff that he shouldn't be. Get out. Oh well. All right, so that'll wrap up the local stuff. Now, Tim, you were in Loudon.
Loudon, yes, sir.
With the tour race. Why don't you wrap that up or give us?
Yeah, I was actually hoping for a little bit more of people there. I think there was more people there for the first year and not this year. Fan wise, I was a little disappointed about the lack of support. I mean, there were still people there. The problem is that place is so huge It looks like there's nobody there, but then again, when we were leaving after the modified race, it took us 45 minutes to get from the track to the highway. So there were people there. They were just all spread out, I guess, through the place.
Okay.
As far as the racing goes, the weather was a bit warmer than I had anticipated. I ended up spotting for a guy named Josh Berry in the K&N race. I don't really know his background, but apparently he races for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the late model division somewhere.
Okay.
He's like a developmental driver, and he ended up getting a ride in the car that Bruce Cook crew chief. Bruce Cook's been on the RPM podcast last year. They won this race last year. So he approached me to spot, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'll do it. I'm not a driver coach. I'm more just like a spotter to tell you what's going on around you. I'm not one that's going to tell you you got to lift a little early or a little later.
Right.
Hot Pockets is much better at that than I am, and Hot Pockets was actually spotting for the other car that Bruce Cook had there. And Bruce told me he wanted me to do Josh because Josh is a race car driver. He knows where to lift and where not to lift, and the other kid was better for Hot Pockets. So we ended up doing that, and we ended up third in the race, which was pretty good. I think we could have got second. The car that won was it was all lettered up like 54, like Kyle Busch's car, Monster Energy drink car and everything.
Right. Right.
So I'm assuming that was like a Joe Gibbs affiliated car or a Toyota team car or something, and he just had a superior car compared to the rest of the field. So I think we could have got second. We ended up with third, which was good. That was fun.
Well, how many cars total do you think, roughly?
The field itself,
Yeah.
15.
15. Oh, third's nothing to be ashamed about.
No, it's better than they've gotten before, yeah. But it was fun. It was like I've said before, that's not my cup of tea. It's a long, boring time to be up there. They're so much slower than the modifieds. It's ridiculous. But I had fun.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I did a favor for Bruce, and it was fun. So I had a good time up there. And then the modified race was 250 laps, and a long race. A lot of just riding around in the middle of the pack. But we ended up pitting at one point and coming out, and we got caught blending too soon. Broke the blend line. We had to go to the rear of the field. Eric worked his way all the way back up to second with about 40 to go. The yellow came out, and as the yellow came out, there was a lap car in front of the leader and Eric. The leader went to the top of the lap car. Eric went to the bottom of the lap car. And when they went around the lap car, they met in the middle and took each other out pretty much.
Oh.
Some people put the blame on Eric. Some people put the blame on the other guy. Some people on Facebook put the blame on the two spotters, which I'm good friends with the other guy's spotter. And
well, you already say you got to blame the spotter. I mean,
yeah. So it was just an ugly racing deal. And on the next race up front, the racing was good. And I think Bobby Santos ended up winning, if I remember right.
Okay. There we go. I got the cat out. Sorry. He was knocking glass over. So, I mean, where did you guys end up for the I mean, you guys took each other out. Were you out for the race after that, or?
Yeah, we were done.
Oh, okay.
It broke the rack pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know if Ronnie Silk finished or not. I do not think so.
Okay. Worth asking. I don't have the results up yet.
And then on to Stafford this weekend for us.
Okay.
For the fall final.
Let's see. Loudon. Race results. Because I should have been prepared. I have all the other stuff. Oh, boy. This is going to be a while to fix. Okay, Santos brings Sapienza to modify Gloria at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That should be it, right?
That's it.
Why don't they just have results? They have a breakdown of everything that happened. I just want the results. Oh, well. Yeah, I think that's going to be All right. Well, we'll post an article about it because I'm terrible at being a podcast. Scott, where are you? Help, Scott. Put that pumpkin down. All right. So you didn't really get to see much of the NASCAR race. You had said.
No, I didn't see. I saw a little bit of something at the end. We were getting back to the hotel. I don't even know what it was. I seen like 5 minutes or something, but not enough to talk about.
Okay.
You just give your rendition in the top 10, and was
Yeah.
the Ferris wheel there?
I didn't notice the Ferris wheel, but I will say during the little pre-race show, they did have they talked about the home tracks, and there were a couple pictures of Truex and Wall Stadium in the pre-race show.
Okay, good.
Which I thought was really cool, and even like you could see in the back, it said Wall Stadium, and then there were pictures. You could tell the old wooden guardrails and stuff like that. So that was really neat, and I mean, it's rare to see it. I know Wall got some recognition when Truex had won the championship, but even when they did his home track things. Back at that Jersey Mike's or whatever it was when they were sitting down talking, Wall barely got anything. They showed, photos of New Egypt and all that. So it was cool that, unprovoked or anything like that, they just brought it up on their own to show pictures of Wall, and I just thought that was really neat. It made me feel good. The big thing is overall it wasn't a bad race by any means. There was a lot of actual three wide racing. We saw that in the Xfinity race where Rutledge would even during he does that thing where he goes around to different spots on the track and just talks to everybody or talks to fans, and he was talking about Joe Graff Jr. Which was being in the Xfinity race and talking about, hey, if you're looking for somebody new to root for, Joe Graff Jr., he's from Mahwah, New Jersey, and all that. So it was cool to see, somebody else from our state, talked about and in a good light at least. And the racing was overall pretty good. Another thing Rutledge had done, he found some people the people that bought Denny Hamlin's childhood home. Denny Hamlin gave them pit passes, so they got to be behind his pit box during the Cup race, which was pretty cool. They actually let him go in and see his old room and stuff like that, which was cool. So in return, he gave them some tickets, and that was neat. The crowd was pretty good. Now, I think in the previous race, Kyle Busch was all upset, and they were asking him like, "Oh, what do you think about the next race?" He's like, "Nope, can't pass there." About Richmond. And Truex made a pretty darn good pass on Kyle Busch to take the lead and ended up getting the win. Now, there was another exciting moment. Stenhouse had just he just pitted, had fresh tires on, locked up, I guess, the left front going into the turn, and ended up going right into the back of Truex and spun him around, which brought out the yellow while Truex was leading. So
they were lapping him.
He was just back out on the track. I think Stenhouse was either trying to unlap himself or just get back up to speed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good. And went right into Truex, took him out, brought out the yellow, and it kind of confused me because if that happened at Wall, even if you're the leader, you go to the back because you part of the yellow. Now, I guess because of I guess you become the last car in the lead lap, and because of the way the pit stops were working out, that put Truex back to like third.
Okay.
So what could have been incredibly damaging and put him back to like 18th or something, only put him back to third because of the way the pit stops were working. I thought his night was done for sure there. Because they had about 75 laps to go, and if he was going to have to work back through that much traffic, it was going to be kind of crazy.
Now, were they talking about that like it was a sketchy situation, or everybody was happy that he was where he was?
It really didn't get brought up by the broadcasters or the announcers much. That was something that I was like, oh, well, there goes his night. They said, Truex has to be fuming now and this and that. Um, uh, and later, Truex lapped Stenhouse again, and Stenhouse stayed well out of his way after that. But yeah, Truex stayed out front and got the wins. That's back-to-back wins for him. That's more insurance playoff points to help help him hopefully make it to the next round because he's already locked in. He's already locked into the second round of the playoffs, but he's hoping to hopefully all these points are going to help ensure him making it to going towards the final four. So we'll see how that goes. Now, initially, it looked like a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Gibbs, but Eric Jones failed post-race tech because of that optical scanner deal. I forget exactly what the infraction was. All I know is through the scanner, something wasn't where it was supposed to be, and he got DQ'd for it. So, rules are rules.
That's a touchy situation. I believe if something gets bet during the race, that you should be allowed to go through with it. If it was, they scanned the car before he raced, right?
Yeah, I believe
And he
so.
went out on the track, and then something happens during the race. What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, the problem is I forget what crew was it. Keselowski's crew that was, or Hamlin's crew that was purposely bumping into the car to dent the rear panel in.
Yep.
Well, technically, Tim, that happened during the race.
Yeah.
So they got to try to stop people from abusing it and all that. But that's what was it, years ago? Somebody's piston was a quarter of an ounce too light.
Yeah.
Things like that. Well, that they gave you a fine line for the number. What are you going to do? I mean, did that quarter of an ounce really, affect where they finished? I don't know, but if you're given a black and white rule, I don't know. So it sucks for Jones, but that's what happens, and okay, on to the next one.
So where did Kyle Busch finish?
Let's find out. Kyle Busch finished second.
Was he much more pleasant in his post-race interview than he was last week?
I actually, after the on-track interview, I usually turned it off because it was late and I wasn't feeling well, so I just wanted to go to bed. So Truex did his little on-track interview with Rutledge, and then I was like, okay, that's good, and then off it went. We'll do the RPM podcast top 10. You have Martin Truex Jr. with the win, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Newman, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Daniel Suarez, and Jimmy Johnson, and wraps up your top 10. I heard a possible rumor that Suarez might lose the ride for next year because they're talking about who they're bringing up from Xfinity and all that. So they're like, well, if you look at these teams and, he's trying to prove a point that he can race, that he's here to race, but, he might be the one that has to leave to make room for the younger drivers. We'll see how that plays out in the future.
I'm sure they already got somewhere else where they can go if they got that money behind them.
Yeah, with his dad and the sponsorship, I'm sure that, he'll be running somewhere. Or his dad might say, look, I let you do it for this long. Time's up.
Yeah.
You're done. Because I don't know, has he shown much? I mean, he's there. He's not last, but you're in top tier equipment.
Yeah.
So it's about what you can do with it. It's kind of like how long can Natalie Decker stay, where she's at, wrecking all the equipment.
Yep, as long as somebody's paying the bills.
Yeah. Just go be a model somewhere. She's pretty enough for it, and she'll break less stuff. So the Xfinity Series, we'll do the top 10 there. Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, Noah Gragson, Zane Smith, Michael Annett, and Tyler Reddick are your top 10. Again, both races were pretty good races. I was I missed a little bit of the Cup race, mostly the first segment, because my kid wanted to go watch the space station fly over, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was that? You see
Uh,
it good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's there's a little app you can get. It's like ISS detector or something like that. I don't know, and yeah, it'll give you times that it'll be visible from your area, and it'll tell you what direction to look or whatever. And you see kind of like little orange or white, light just kind of move across the sky, and
Mm.
it's cool. And it was really the cute part was my kid said one day I'm gonna be up there. So
Yeah, you never know.
yeah, hopefully. And, it depends on what college I can get him into, and I don't think a pool boy salary is quite enough for that. But um, you know, it was cool to hear him say. So that was my proud dad moment. Um, anyway, moving on to Formula One, Singapore, um, under the lights. It's I didn't get to watch it. I really should watch a replay, but again, I've been under the weather, so we'll just do the top 10. Vettel gets the win in a fairly close margin considering it's Formula One. 2.6 seconds behind him was Leclerc. Then Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton out of the podium. Valtteri Bottas, Albon, Norris, Gasly, Hulkenberg, and Giovinazzi. And then the Haas teammates finishing outside of the points. There was one thing. Kevin Magnussen from Haas had a sandwich bag, like a little Ziploc bag, get caught in the air intake, and it caused overheating and all sorts of other problems for the car. And I know we see issues in NASCAR where they get debris on the grill, hot dog wrappers, and things like that, and it causes problems. But there was a great meme of Formula One. There were a sandwich bag destroys the race for this team for this car. But if you look at WRC or like World Rally Championship or some of the other divisions, they're driving around with half a fence and some signage
Yeah.
stuck to their windshield.
They hit a cow on the backstretcher.
And they keep going. So it's like, well, it's kind of wimpy in a way. Moving on to IndyCar. They wrapped up their season at the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. They've been, I want to say, they said it was like 15 years since they've been there.
Somebody asked me, where is Laguna Seca?
Monterey, California.
Okay, I told him California, so I was correct.
It's dry and dusty, and nobody wants to be there. So yeah, California. So Colton Herta gets the win, followed by Will Power, Scott Dixon, Simon Pagenaud, Felix Rosenquist, Alexander Rossi, Sebastian Bourdais, Joseph Newgarden, James Hinchcliffe, and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Now, just to make Scott happy, even though he's not here, Marco Andretti finished 14th. Now,
Did they do anything with that new cockpit you were talking about?
Again, I didn't get to watch it yet. It was supposed to be 2 of the cars were supposed to have it. To test it, so I didn't get to look at it yet. But Joseph Newgarden did get his second title. He finished in 8th. That gave him enough points to win the championship for 2019. And we'll see how they look next year. I'm hoping to see those windscreens or the aero screen on every car next year. Obviously, won't be going to Pocono, but at least maybe it'll help save somebody's life at like Indianapolis or something like that. Which really, I mean, if you want to advertise your series, instead of calling it Indycar, call it Texas Car or something like that. Pick a track that has action. I hate Indianapolis. But yeah, so I've yet to see. I don't remember if NTT is going to be on board for multiple years or not. We'll see how that pans out. But it seemed like they had a good year. I saw a few articles saying that IndyCar is back to being as good as it ever was. That it's coming around and more people are getting involved. And I think that they do a good fan experience. I know that IMSA does a similar fan experience for their races where you actually can walk in the pits and, get pictures with drivers and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be my next goal is finding a way to get to, like, I don't know, Sebring or something. Probably not Daytona, but at least if I go to Daytona, there'll be a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that about wraps all that up for me. We went through the emails already. I apologize. I am definitely out of it this week, just because of being sick.
Well,
here.
yeah, and my brother kind of put us through a loop there. We thought he was going to be on tonight, and then he had a quick tow he had to go do. So
He got honked at and had to go
Yeah.
hook.
and we had Neil on the line, so we had to go with the show anyway. So
Yep. Yeah, Neil was he was ready for last night, and then I wasn't feeling well, so I pushed it off to tonight, and I wasn't going to push him off again and all that. And
with neither one of us being at Walt was kind of flat, but it happens.
yeah, if Scott would stop playing around with his pumpkins, we could have had some more detail about the Twin 25 races for the factory.
Well, we got the opportunity. Speaking just you and me, I got a lot of good feedback on our other show. I'm good and thankful for all the people that mentioned us and emailed us and stuff on there. So that was good. We're going to do that again. We're not sure when, but it was fun.
Preferably after these antibiotics do their thing, is where what I'm gonna say. But yeah, no, I definitely look forward to doing another one of those, relatively soon, and we'll be back again next week with the podcast. We'll be in a little bit better form, I think. As it is, I need to go rest my voice. So we're just under an hour. That's not too bad. I think it's a good, quick show. So yeah, don't forget. Wall Stadium with their Fan Fest this Saturday night. I think Van Wickle Napa is doing a big thing. They gave out a bunch of tickets, and they're going to have a bunch of people there, and it should be a good show. I just I have no idea about weather. I'm not even going to go down that road, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. Should be a lot of fun for everybody. Tim, are you going to be at Wall this Saturday?
I might be, depending on when my other guy that goes racing with us to this tour race, if he can't go up until Sunday, I'll wait and go up with him on Sunday and go to Wall on Saturday night.
Okay.
If the other guy can go up on Saturday, we'll go up to Stafford on Saturday for a practice and qualifying, and then we race on Sunday. So hopefully I can go to Wall on Saturday night if the cards fall in that way, but we'll see. I don't know yet for sure.
Do you know what time you're supposed to race on Sunday, roughly?
It can be anywhere from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, depending on what goes on. I'm not sure what race we are there.
All right, sounds good. All right, Tim. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking with it, and I guess go to Wall.
Yeah, go to Wall.